Shall we?
We shall.
We shall. For fuck's sake. Welcome back. It's the Shoal Weekly Podcast, Season 2, bringing you a whole new dose of film, TV, and pop culture. I'm your host, Joe, joined by my trusted co-hosts, Charlie and Ben.
Heyo.
It's been holding up, UK?
Yeah, hungover. Great.
Hungover.
Great way to start the new season.
Yeah, I mean, that's
as
the
we
only way
need
to
to go
start
on.
At least we all managed to watch the film for this week.
Yeah, I definitely didn't fall asleep.
No.
Anyway,
how have we all been doing? We haven't done a podcast in 3-4 weeks now. We obviously ended things with the Greatest Showman.
Why wasn't that the title?
Greatest Showman, celebrating all the Academy Awards. That's all done and dusted now. We don't have to deal with the award season for another year. Thank God. Hope it's better next year.
Wasn't that bad?
It was a lot of boring films though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Ben found them so boring he didn't even watch any.
them.
Anyway, Ben, how have you been doing? We didn't have you on the last podcast, and welcome back for season 2. Tell us what you've been up to.
So I have been, not up to too much. Just been, trying to enjoy what little sunshine there is at the minute. Trying not to drown in the rain that follows. I've been watching a few films. I watched Avengers Endgame. So again.
Watches it every week.
This time. I know. I watched it with watched it this time, and I also watched the new Tom Clancy's Without Remorse. It came out on Amazon a couple of weeks ago, and it was really good. Definitely worth a watch. And not gonna lie, the end scene credit is probably the best bit because it tees up. It looks like they're about to kick off a franchise on Rainbow Six Siege, which is
cool.
A really popular computer game. That would be a pretty sick TV show. So that's been me at the minute. Well, how about you, Charlie? What have you been up to?
I've not watched that many films, considering I'm meant to be like the fucking film buff. I started watching, is it Invincible on Amazon Prime?
Mm-hmm.
Kieran showed me that. That's really good. Bit of like a subversion of the superhero trope at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I also watched Fight Club with him last night.
Oh, what a film.
Had a few bevs and put that on. It got a bit trippy. It's so good when you show someone like a film you love and they have sort of no idea what the twist is.
Whenever I show someone Fight Club for the first time, I spend more time watching them than I do watching the movie.
But it's so good, like to see the moment of realization.
Yeah, I know.
When it all clicks. I love it.
It sucks so much, like when you're like 10 minutes into the film or like 20 minutes into Fight Club, and then the person who you're watching it with goes, "Oh, they're the same person."
Yeah, they get it. Yeah,
like, oh, for fuck's sake.
We're watching it now.
Yeah, you've seen Fight Club, right, Ben?
I have indeed. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
I thought you were going to say I hadn't.
And then I just ruined the whole thing. Spoiler alert, by the way. Man.
And especially when you want to, when they have the flashes come up of Tyler. Like when he's cut into the film, it's like you want to say to them like, "That's really cool because he's there. Look at him."
Yeah,
but obviously that'll spoil it.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about you, Joe? What have you been watching?
Not a lot. I've been on a mission to find a horror film that scares me. I'm still haven't really found one. I watched one called The Fourth Kind, which is like this sort of pseudo documentary thing with Mila Jovovich in it, and it was just terrible. It was awful. So I'm not even going to talk about it. But on the upside, I did watch Inception for like the 100th time.
Did that one scare you?
No, it didn't. No. More head fucky, less face fucky than Fight Club is what I've put in the notes here.
Nice.
Talking about comparing the two. I had a choice between watching Inception and Fight Club with my girlfriend, and she doesn't go in for the violence and the blood, so settled for Inception.
Wouldn't like Tarantino then?
Well, you say that, but she did join in with the live Pulp Fiction watch along.
True.
Yeah,
I feel that's one of his lesser violent films, though.
Yeah, that and Jackie Brown as well. But then Kill Bill.
It's just like the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watched a great horror film called, well, less of a horror, more of like a psychological thriller. Watched Orphan, if any of you have seen that.
The Coldplay song.
No.
No.
We get it. You like Coldplay.
I love how you just thought it, but in your head though, it made total sense that you could watch a song. Like,
watch the music video.
no, you just watch it on repeat.
That is basically Charlie's bedroom, just music videos on repeat and album artwork on the wall.
Yeah.
It's
a vibe.
No, Orphan is it's a film about these
orphans.
Spoiler alert.
No, Chaz. No, that's the sequel. It's Orphan.
Oh,
and
sorry.
Then Orphans, and
Singular
then
Orphan.
Then it's Orphan 3. Then it's Orphan Resurrection. And then it's Orphan versus Foster
King
Kid.
Kong.
King Kong. Just one orphan versus King Kong. They pretty much did. They pretty much did that in the new Kong versus Godzilla. There's this little kid that just can talk to King Kong for some reason, and like she has no backstory.
Is that Millie Bobby Brown?
No, no. She plays an even she plays an even more boring side character. I can't even remember her character's name. No, anyway, Orphan is.
Is it scary?
No, it's more sort of weird. So this couple they lose a child during childbirth. So they decide to turn a negative into a positive, and they think, we've just lost a baby. Why don't we adopt a child that really needs a home?
Right.
So they adopt this child, and this child's amazing, talented, kind, sweet, all of the above. And I'm not going to ruin the twist at all, but sinister things surrounding the child start to emerge, and the parents have to look into the backstory and the history, which just leads to disaster.
Sinister's a different film.
Yeah, okay, good one.
Right, yeah.
So I see what this season's going to be then. It's going to be like us bringing films to the table, and then just Chaz just being an absolute idiot.
Just totally
for the whole season, yeah.
How's that different to the first season?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you've gained a bit more confidence in your 3 weeks off.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I've really watched. I've been trying to actually start watching Lost as well, because I never watched that back in the day. Never watched it.
I never watched it either.
No.
Is it as good as the hype? Or
yeah, the first 3 episodes, I was glued to the screen.
Well, apparently it ends badly, doesn't it? That has a really bad ending. A bit like Dexter level of.
I haven't watched it, mate.
Yeah,
well,
avoid spoilers, because my parents spoiled it. Because I was like, oh, you guys used to watch this thing called Lost. Like, I might give it a go. And they literally just came straight out with the spoiler. And we're just like, no, don't watch it. I was like, oh, thanks. But, avoid it.
I'll let you know. I mean, the finale's got 8.5 on IMDb.
That's not awful.
It's not awful. It's not like, sort of 4.2 for the Game of Thrones finale, or...
That's so bad. I didn't watch Game of Thrones. Was it that bad?
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
Oh, I thought you were like well into that.
Watch the first season of Game of Thrones. Can get into it, behind it, with it.
I thought you were all over it.
Fantasy doesn't need gratuitous sex and violence to be interesting.
But it does need a pedo dragon.
Am I right? It's perfect segue into Spirit. You were planning that, weren't you?
No, but it worked really well, and I'm proud of myself.
Into Spirited Away there. Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about it now, aren't we?
No, you can do if you want.
Yeah. You just wrote here, Spirited Away, pedo dragon. That's it. That's the tweet.
It makes it even worse when you realise that he made this film for 10-year-olds.
He's teaching 10-year-olds to be a pedo dragon.
Well, before we get started into that, as always, do be sure to follow our socials for updates and news. Hit that notification bell. I can't say this seriously after what we just said. But please drop us a like or a follow, because we really appreciate the support going into season 2. Also, we should probably mention, if you do have a film that you want us to break down or talk about, or in Charlie's case, shred to pieces, or in Ben's case, gas up, pop a
gas
comment.
Up. Yeah, let's take like that.
Pop a comment in any
Avatar's a brilliant film, all right? Avatar is.
Oh, here we go.
Oh my god!
I am having a ban. I'm having a ban on Avatar for season 2. Okay, you can't.
You should do like a forfeit every time he mentions it.
Yeah, there we go.
Does a shot. We should do a drinking game every time Ben mentions Avatar in an episode.
Well,
I'll get it in every sentence.
Yeah.
Obviously, to kick off season 2, we have chosen none other than Studio Ghibli's Spirited Away, directed by Hayao Miyazaki. Arguably a film that really brought universal acclaim and attention to Studio Ghibli and Japanese fantasy anime in general. But yeah, I mean, did you guys, just to get started, really generic question about anime, did you go for dub or did you watch Japanese with subtitles?
I went for dub.
Yeah.
Just because it was the one that was on Netflix when I watched it. It just started and I was like,
Yeah.
I'll go for it.
You can
Like
change it in the settings though.
Yeah, it was just there and I'm lazy, so
Yeah.
I didn't want to read.
Not when you're hungover.
No, and I fell asleep anyway, so.
Yeah. Ben, did you catch the dub or the sub?
I think I watched the sub. Right? No, the dub.
If it was Japanese, it was the sub.
No, I watched the dub. Yeah.
Okay, cool. glad we got you there.
Yeah. No, it's just like Charlie. It's just the default on Netflix. Also, I kind of enjoy it. It was, it's you kind of don't notice it, so it's quite nice. Like, there's some things that you try and watch, and it's so horribly dubbed. It's just like I can't even watch this. Like, there's a couple of Spanish TV shows that are on Netflix. They're on Netflix, like kind of like dramas and stuff, and I just can't watch them. I have to watch them with subtitles because the dubs are just, the mouths are that out of sync. It's like you're watching it like delayed. It's just because obviously they're completely different.
Animation, you can really get away with a dub, but then I always find that if it's a TV show, it's quite a cheap dub, and the voice actors aren't that great. So things like Death Note or Attack on Titan, Naruto, you want to try and watch them in Japanese. It's my humble opinion. But something like we watched Your Name back in December as part of our first festival, and that had a really, really good dub. I've seen that both Japanese and in English, and then I did actually switch over to the dub for like 10 minutes just to hear the voices. And I liked it. I liked what I heard, but I did decide to stick with the Japanese.
Well, it's interesting because the dub was done by, or with the help of Pixar and
really,
and John Lasseter. So an interesting piece of trivia: the first screening of the film outside of Japan was actually at Pixar Studios, as he was basically pitching them to help him with the English dub, which is quite cool. And then from that, John Lasseter, the chief creative officer at Pixar, he convinced Disney to buy the distribution rights. And kind of the rest is history, I suppose. It then went on to be, win an Academy Award, which is, pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was the first anime film to be nominated for and win an Academy Award as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's also actually the longest runtime of any other film nominated or winning in that category at the time as well. Like 2 hours and 10 minutes is long for an animation.
Yeah.
Really long. And yeah, but anyway, if you don't know the plot of Spirited Away, I do recommend you go and watch the film. It's fantastic. I'm going to share my opinion with it in a second, but just to run down the synopsis, the story is basically about a young 10-year-old girl called Chihiro, and her parents are moving to this small Japanese town in the countryside, much to her dismay. But on the way to their new home, Chihiro's father makes a wrong turn and drives down a lonely one-lane road and dead end, and there's a tunnel, and her parents decide to stop the car and explore because the dad's a bit of a sightseer.
Arrogant bastard.
Yeah. They go through the tunnel and they find this abandoned amusement park on the other side with its own sort of little town. And when her parents see a restaurant with a great smelling food but no staff, they decide to go and eat and pay later. And essentially, this little boy called Haku turns up and tells Chihiro that her parents are in danger. They need to leave because as soon as the sun goes down, the whole area, this amusement park, this town is actually not run down, and it's a vacation. It's a holiday home for all of these supernatural creatures, these demons, spirits, and evil gods, and everything. And so at the center of the town is a bathhouse where all these creatures go to relax after their long day of haunting people all across the world. And essentially, the plot kicks off with Chihiro's parents being turned into pigs. And to earn her parents' freedom and to earn her own, Chihiro has to work at the bathhouse for this evil witch called Yababa, and she must work and rely on Haku to save her parents in the hopes of returning to the normal world. And that's essentially where things kick off. And well, Charlie, you've seen the film before. You said you saw it a few years ago.
Yeah.
Well, how was it to revisit it? Because this is the first time I've watched it.
The first time through, I was a bit confused as to like what the hell was going on. You just have all these weird creatures bobbing about, like taking a bath, and it's like it's just weird. But then I think once you give it a second watch, you start to understand a bit more of the themes it wants to talk about.
Yeah,
and it talks about a lot of themes. There's like environmentalism in there. There's a critique on capitalism and greed. There's like, well, obviously we like it, Joe, because it's a coming of age story as well.
Yeah.
So we just immediately like it. But yeah, there's like a whole thing about loss of innocence and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's great. There's so many themes that you can take from it as an adult, but also if you're a child, it's just a weird and wacky sort of cartoon, which you're gonna love, and then grow up to appreciate more and more the more you watch it, I think.
Couldn't have put it better myself. I think I'm glad I didn't watch it when I was young.
Yeah,
I think it would have been too weird.
Yeah, I feel like I understand more from it now.
Yeah,
having life experience, I guess.
Yeah, so I'm sort of conflicted in that department because I'm like, well, I can't believe I waited so long to watch it, and then also at the same time I'm like, I'm glad I did because it's a weird one.
Who is your favourite spirit?
It's a weird one that might have given you some dragon issues if you'd watched it a bit earlier.
yeah.
My favourite character.
Or like spirit, just like weird ass little spirit thing.
I liked the little fly that was just like flying the hamster around.
Yeah,
that was funny.
It's like a little fly jetpack.
Yeah, I liked the ash, the little charcoal dudes that were like
the soot spirits.
That's it. Yeah, the soot. Yeah, couldn't think of the word for it there.
I want one.
Yeah. Despite actually having a really rich plot that I really enjoyed, I was so surprised to know that Spirited Away was not actually made with a script at all. Yeah, Miyazaki's kind of famous, the director, he's kind of famous for not wanting or like having scripts. He says that, he doesn't have the story finished by the time it's ready to actually start development.
That's mad because it's so like interconnected in places.
Yeah, I know, and he just says that he doesn't usually have the time to write a script, and that his script to him is storyboards.
Wow.
So the story develops when he starts drawing stuff, which I really like because I guess that's the essential quality of animation. The production begins when pen goes to paper. Yeah, and I feel like some of the most successful animations in that regard, like I don't know, look at like the Lego Movie, which I think is a really, really good film.
It's ace,
it's awesome, and I know obviously Pixar do things pretty much by the book, but some of their earlier ones as well, where it was so focused on just the pen to paper development of a story.
It must be hard though, because there's all these people involved in animating it, to not have a story and not know where it's going to go. Like,
yeah, I'm not too sure how long it took them to make Spirited Away, but I know something like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse took them 4 years.
Wow.
Whoa, really?
Do. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it is a great film. So, and what's that? There's the other film that I really like, which is, I suppose it's not really animation in the sense this is, but Kubo and the Two Strings. That's stop motion, with a bit of kind of CGI in the background.
Yeah.
But that one is that film took years to make. I remember. I absolutely love that film. I suppose it's kind of a sign of a good film, isn't it? That it takes, especially like a fancy, like an anime, a stop motion.
Yeah, I've got nothing but respect for animators who just for hours a day just either work on 1 or 2 or 3 frames of a film.
Insane, especially when it's all done by hand.
Wow. Yeah, exactly. So so in the case of Spirited Away, it was 2001. Computer animation was there, but it wasn't as developed. You got to imagine that those kind of computer effects were reserved for huge budgets. Lord of the Rings came out around the same time.
Yeah.
But Spirited Away is just your very classic stop motion. It's drawing. Every frame is a painting. And I've got nothing but respect for that, because every shot in the film was full of detail. I couldn't believe how much detail was in it.
But the motion doesn't, because in some animations the motion seems really jointed and like not right and doesn't flow well, but it does in this.
Yeah, I think some anime tend to revert down to 12 frames per second.
Right.
And I couldn't quite get a sense of what Spirited Away's FPS was, but it didn't seem jarring, not like something like Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because I like the style of Fantastic Mr. Fox, but whenever it's drawing, it just doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't flow nicely.
Yeah.
Whereas stop motion, I think, can be a bit more disjointed.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Ben, what did you think of the film? It was your first time watching it.
Yeah, I really liked it. I enjoyed. I enjoyed it thoroughly, kind of from start to finish. It was nice. It wasn't, like you said, it did. You could read quite a lot from it, which I thought was quite nice. You had the elements of kind of the greed and the there was the kind of the massive scene with the slime spirit that they thought it was, and it was like full of kind of pollution. And it was actually, turns out it was a river spirit, but it was just them, like, all they had to do was clear out all of the trash and pollution which was inside of it, and it became turned back into this massive water dragon thing, which was quite cool, because it's kind of based off polluting. Actually, the director, he cleaned a river out and actually pulled a bicycle out of a river once, and that's why it was in there. And I really liked it. It was really based in kind of actual experiences, which was nice. But at the same time, you didn't really have to take it too seriously if you didn't want to. You could just sit there and enjoy it. For what it was, which was really nice. I liked it. I thought it was pretty hilarious at times. Like, there's just like kind of random acts that are just kind of scattered throughout it. Like when she falls down the stairs at the beginning, she's just like screaming, like proper anime running down the stairs. It was very funny. No, I liked it. Actually, as well. Do you know did you see who the voice actor is for Chihiro?
No, in English.
Yeah.
No.
All right. It's Davy Chase, who played Lilo from Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Same era, cool. I suppose.
Yeah.
They actually I think they competed at the same Oscars. I think Lilo and Stitch wasn't it? I think so.
Imagine that voice actress just like going, "Oh, what are you here for?" Like, 2 films, bitch.
Yeah.
Both.
I'm fucking Lilo, bitch.
Yeah. Who do you think you are? Stitch. Yeah. No, it was. I really enjoyed it. Apart from the kind of creepy dragon pedo thing, that was a little bit weird.
Okay, we need to just stop saying that like without any context. So we'll break it down for the audience. So, Chihiro meets this young boy.
We should probably say spoilers.
We're gonna break apart the ending of the film. Really, she meets this boy who is essentially kind of once upon a time was like her and stumbled into this world and never left, and now he's this dragon.
Of course,
and now he's a dragon. And he is this love interest for Chihiro, and on face value they're both 10-year-old children, and he's never aged, but at the same time he has been there for thousands and thousands of years. And the fact that Chihiro feels like she's known him for like all her life, and it turns out that Haku saved her when she was like drowning in a river when she was very, very little. And the big sort of twist, and not the twist, but the big sort of catharsis at the end of the film is she allows Haku to remember his full name, who he was before he was a dragon, and he says, "Oh, I'm going to give up my apprenticeship at the bathhouse, and I will come and find you. We'll meet again." And I'm like, yeah, that's cute, but you're like 1,000 years old and she's 10. So yeah,
Nonce.
that was a little bit noncy. But then obviously the iconography of like the dragon is incredibly spiritual in Japanese mythology and stuff like that. And there's a lot of those kind of strange themes occur in a lot of very popular kabuki and no theater
I mean, yeah,
productions. So
it's a very sweet moment, isn't it? I don't want to take the piss too much, but yeah, from a Western point of view on it, I suppose it's very.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get away with that doing it in a Pixar film, for example. I don't think.
No, they'd have to be the same age.
Yeah.
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 Or like, maybe he could be 12. That'll be all right.
No, I think we were joking about it, but at the same time, it is nice. It fits with the film. It's kind of it's not too left of field.
It's not too noncy.
Yeah, it's he's depicted as a young boy, and
I wonder if Prince Andrew likes this film.
Watching it with his Pizza Express takeaway.
Oh wow.
He can listen to the podcast if he wants.
Yeah, give us a should we take a sponsorship off Prince Andrew? Probably shouldn't, should we?
Sponsorship. Oh, we're getting into dark territory there. Let's move on very quickly. Here's a piece of trivia that I really enjoyed. So the names of the characters actually provide clues to their identities, especially like their written names. So in kanji, which is the adopted Chinese characters. So Yubaba literally translates as hot water crone, which is just perfect. Zanzibar is money crone. Kaonashi is no face. So like the character kanji for that. And then Bo, which is the baby. Bo literally means young boy or child.
Oh, cool.
And then my favorite one is Kamaji, who is the old dude in the
like the spider dude.
It either means kettle or boiler pot or old man.
Nice.
Imagine calling a dude old man. Just calling
the
him
whole
kettle
character
at the same time.
Yeah. What's your name?
Kamaji.
What's your name? Cliche. And then obviously Chihiro, which roughly translates as 1,000 fathoms or 1,000 searches. So like obviously like the drowning aspect or like the searching for the parents aspect.
Oh, that's cool.
And then Sen, which is the name that it changes into. Her name that she takes on while she's working at the bathhouse is pretty much 1,000. Sen is 1,000.
Okay.
So and I really liked that in terms of language. The aspect that the plot sort of device that she was going to lose her name.
Yeah.
And literally, in her name would be spelled with 2 Chinese characters. And when she becomes Sen, that wasn't just a random name picked out. It's because Chihiro is the 2 characters that make up Chihiro. One of them is the same symbol for Sen.
Okay.
So cool. She literally loses 50% of her written name, and the only symbol that's left is Sen, meaning 1,000. So, so when it's compounded with the other symbol, Sen then becomes pronounced Chi. So
cool.
Chihiro, yeah. So
cool.
It's really interesting, yeah. And you find that a lot, and it gets a bit lost in translation. A lot of the times when you watch an anime and you're watching it in dub, or like for example, when we watched Your Name, the whole idea of them swapping genders, it's funny, but it's also doubly funny in Japanese because they have different words for different genders, as do a lot of romance languages, and English doesn't. English just doesn't have that. We have the same pronouns, whether we're male or female. Probably shouldn't have said that.
I know what you mean.
Actual grammar pronouns. We don't change them based on gender. But in Japanese they do. So there's a lot of jokes that, when in Your Name, when he was in the girl's body, he actually used the word I,
one.
but he used the male one.
Okay.
Instead of the feminine one, the masculine one. Sorry.
That's why they all look at him funny, like what?
Yeah.
Or her funny. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So,
but like
obviously, same kind of thing in Spirited Away is that the idea of her losing her name in English, it's like, okay, cool, you're gonna lose your name. all right,
Get a new one.
get a
I'm
new one.
such a pussy.
And Sen seems really random.
No, I think even you are right. Like, as a name, you can't take it as sense. But when that scene where she literally lifts the characters, like you said, the Chinese characters off the page, a tiny bit of the character is left on the page. So I think you can still see. Like, I still got it. Like, I still like kind of got what it was. It was like kind of she's just kind of given a little bit of a name and made that her new name.
It definitely would have been very meaningful for Japanese audiences. I feel
it's really good though. It's just a nice little detail which we love to see.
So I was looking for some good trivia on this film, and I came across a really one that just really tickled me. Okay, just listen to this. The scene at the end of the film where Chihiro and her parents are walking through the tunnel back to the car is, wait for it, the exact same scene as the one in the beginning of the film.
What?
Only reversed. Mind blown.
Budgeting.
My favorite thing to do on IMDb is to scroll right down to the bottom of the trivia to see which one to people are least interested in.
That's like, when you're writing an essay and you need the word count to be longer, and you just start waffling about something.
Yeah, I would literally put that as like a footnote or something.
Yeah.
Aside, the scene at the end of the film is exactly the same as the one at the start.
Did you know?
Although this is conjecture.
That's the one you whip out at a party.
When you're really, really drunk and the person doesn't really give a shit, but you want to sound smart. Yeah.
Are we blind? Deploy the trivias. Well, I think Spirited Away definitely gets my seal of approval. Again, I can't believe it took me so long to watch it, but
your shoal of approval.
Does that work?
Not really, but just go with it. Go with the flow.
Yeah. Jazz, what seal of approval from you?
Yes.
Are we recommending it for people at home?
Oh yeah. I mean,
lovely.
It's very highly rated as on every 100 films to watch in your life list.
Yeah.
So yes, go watch it.
Go watch it. Straight away. Ben.
Now.
Of course. 100%. Definitely gets the shoal of approval.
Amazing. Well, this has been the kickoff for season 2. We decided to keep this one a little bit shorter just because things are getting a bit more social now. Lockdown is on its way, hopefully, to be lifting. So just a short episode to get us started. Next week, though, we are going to be doing something different. We're not going to do a film of the week. Ben and I are going to sit down and we're going to do a special retrospective on Marvel's Infinity Saga. We're going to be talking about our favorite moments. We're going to be talking about moments that could have been improved. And we're going to be talking about the future of the MCU as well if we have time. But until then, please do make sure that you are hitting that notification bell, subscribing to us, follow our socials as well so you can keep on top of the news. We'll be announcing what films we're going to be looking at for the MCU in a few days. And then also, we do have a special podcast in 2 weeks' time. We're hopefully going to be doing that live. We are going to be together, finally, the 3 boys. We're going to be together for the weekend, finally. So that's going to be a fun one to do. We'll try and think of something special for that. But until then, thank you so much for listening. This has been Joe, Charlie, and Ben from the Shoal Weekly Podcast, and we are very excited to carry on with the rest of season 2. Until then, bye-bye.
See ya!
I'm fucking Lilo, bitch.